Quick hits.
We gotta move quickly.
There's no time.
Move fast there. Come on.
And here we go on a Thursday installment of America's favorite sports talk radio segment. It is time for Quick Hits right here on the Jake Asman Show. And Quick Hits this morning is brought to you by the New York Islanders, who are going to the conference finals for the second year in a row. We actually don't have a sponsor this morning, so instead I will like to point out the fact that I'm in a great mood because my hockey team is actually...
Is it sponsored by the New York Islanders or the New York Saints?
The New York Saints, baby. How about the fans last night? We'll talk more about it with Mike Carver, who hosts the #1 Islanders podcast, the ILC podcast, at 10:40 Eastern time later this hour. But man, was that fun last night.
Is a name change coming?
Maybe. Do you have the final call handy? For those who didn't hear it, listen to the crowd here as the Islanders are wrapping up a 6-2 win over the Boston Bruins to go to the semifinals for the second year in a row.
10 seconds to go. Bruins have it behind the Islander net. New York Saints is the chant by this Islander crowd. Letty on the far side off the glass. 5 seconds to go. Bruins hold it in behind the New York net with 3. Richie on it. Bruins out. And the New York Islanders defeat the Boston Bruins by the final score of 6-2. The series is over. They eliminate Boston in 6. And they will head to the Stanley Cup semifinals for a second straight year, where they'll meet the Tampa Bay Lightning once again.
New York Saints. New York Saints. For those who missed it, the reason why the Islander fans are chanting New York Saints is because after the Islanders won Game 5, the Bruins head coach Bruce Cassidy said the Islanders are committing penalties too, and they play hard. But, they're not the New York Saints over there. Well, guess what?
Still doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it doesn't, because the Saints are a team that has not gotten the benefit of officiating calls. Now, I don't think he was thinking in football terms, though. I believe he was just using the term Saints as if like, oh,
as in holy.
He should have used Angels. They're not the New York Angels over there. Instead, he used the word Saints, and the Islander fan ran with that. Before the game, there were bands in the Nassau Coliseum parking lot. I retweeted this if you want to see it on my Twitter at Jake Asman. With, playing when the Saints come marching in on the trumpet and the trombone and all that. You had just unbelievable energy at the Nassau Coliseum last night. And it's funny because the chants of the Saints got the actual New Orleans Saints Twitter account to get involved and pull for the Islanders. They tweeted after the game, when the Saints, and then they crossed it off and wrote Islanders, go marching in. Congrats at New York Islanders.
If the Jets have another bad season, you're going to ditch their team, aren't you? You might have, or do you now just have a soft spot for the New Orleans Saints?
I will probably root for the Saints now if the Jets are out of the mix. I usually would root for the Saints because I was a big Drew Brees fan, but now I definitely will be all in. Saints are my NFC team now.
And if they can get, if Drew Brees drops the puck, you're losing your mind, right?
Oh, they should try and get Drew Brees for Game 3 at the Coliseum.
Will you cry if Drew Brees comes out of the tunnel or they open the door, Drew Brees comes walking out to drop the puck?
I would.
Is there a part of you just gonna be like, hey, we've won the whole thing?
See, the Islanders do things a little different on Long Island. They would probably have to get him on the Jumbotron chugging some beer.
Well, maybe that too. Maybe they're saving it for the final itself.
Maybe they are.
Because I don't think the New York Saints chant's going away anytime soon.
No, I think that's gonna happen every time the Islanders go on the power play, or the opposing team, I should say, goes on the power play. Because anytime the Islanders committed a penalty last night, that's when the chant started. And then at the end of the game, as the Bruins were losing, the crowd trolling Cassidy and the Bruins chanted it again.
You got to do it then.
You do. Tremendous job. We'll talk more Islanders coming up later in the show. Let's get to the Yankees and the Twins last night. We're not just talking about this game because I'm obviously a Yankee fan. This was a big game for a June start between two teams that have underachieved this year. Gerrit Cole was on the bump for the first time since he had that weird paused answer where he didn't deny using Spider Tack, but he also didn't say that he used Spider Tack, right?
No, he did.
Without saying it.
It was passed down from generation to generation.
Without saying it, he said it. He didn't want to lie, though. He didn't Rafael Palmeiro.
No, he didn't. He wasn't blatant about it.
So Gerrit Cole last night was on the bump. And right away, first inning, he's facing Josh Donaldson, who's batting second. Donaldson came out last week and publicly said, is it a coincidence that Cole's spin rate went down in his most recent start after 4 minor league baseball players were suspended for being caught using some illegal substances? So Cole took the high road the other day when asked about Donaldson, and he went out there and proceeded to shut him down. Donaldson could not touch Cole. He struck out multiple times against him, and Gerrit Cole ends up going 6 solid innings, only allowed 2 earned runs, and picked up his seventh win as the Yankees beat the Twins 9-6. This was Gerrit Cole saying it's good to shut down Josh Donaldson.
He's a former MVP, big cog in the lineup, 2-hole, important spot for us to, really try to attack and, keep neutralized if we want to keep runs off the board. So, just the satisfaction of executing those pitches in that spot, put our team in a better position to win was enough.
So you hear that. But mind you, each time Gerrit Cole struck out Josh Donaldson, guess what happened? He stared in. He gave him a little something. Now, there was some talk about, should Gerrit Cole buzz Donaldson? Should he throw at him? I think that's like archaic and not necessary. I think the best thing for Cole to do is what he did last night. Go out there with the world watching. Everyone wants to see what's going to happen if you're still the same guy now with the sticky substance crackdown, and pitch well. And Gerrit Cole went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 strikeouts. Could have stayed in longer. Yankees were up 9-2. No reason to pitch him. Smart. And Gerrit Cole shut down Josh Donaldson. I believe Donaldson was 0 for 3 against him, or at least 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He finished 0 for 5 in the game, and the Yankees won, which is the most important thing here. Now, I mentioned the Yankees won. How did they do it? Well, they got not 1 but 2 big home runs from Giancarlo Stanton. Now, on this show, when there's a big Yankee home run, we love to hear from our good friend John Sterling. So here's the call on Yankees radio of Stanton's first home run of the night.
Swung on and hit high in the air to center field, and that ball is gone over the center field fence. It is a 3-run home run, a Stantonian home run to dead center, a 3-run blast. Giancarlo no si può stopparlo. He hits the 3-run blast, and the Yankees take a 5-0 lead.
Oh, yeah. Non si può stopparlo. He's not even Italian. John Sterling's most insane home run call that he has for any Yankee player right there. Ron, your thoughts on non si può stopparlo?
Still don't know what that means.
Nobody does.
Yeah. I don't even know if they're actual words.
I believe it means ain't no one stopping Giancarlo.
I think you made that up.
I might have. I'm just assuming that's what it is.
Is Giancarlo a Saint?
He can play for my team any day of the week if he's healthy. That's his problem.
If he was to be on the Islanders, goalie?
Or defenseman.
That's a big man.
Or defenseman. He's a big dude. Him and Scott Mayfield locking down opponents. Maybe.
Yeah. Ain't nothing getting by you.
I'll take Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is a better athlete than Stanton. Judge can do anything. There was like a graphic a couple of years ago of like Judge's high school stats for basketball, baseball, and football. Aaron Judge is the greatest high school athlete ever. Like the numbers he put up in high school were just insane. I wish I could find that graphic right now. He had like 1,200 receiving yards in high school in like 7 games or whatever. It was nuts.
Makes sense. I mean, he's
6'8",
2 feet taller than everyone out there on the field.
He's pretty good. Now, Cole did his job last night. We're making way too much of the spin stuff. We talked about it yesterday. I would like to see how it does impact offense overall. But guys like Gerrit Cole and Trevor Bauer are still going to be good. I don't think that they're just going to magically just be bad now. And Cole pitched great last night with everyone watching. So good for him. Because, if he struggled, it would have been a big deal. Like, second bad start in a row. Is Gerrit Cole not the guy the Yankees thought they were getting because he's using these substances? He pitched great last night. Good for him. Now, let's talk about Pete Alonso's comments. So Pete Alonso, the all-star first baseman for the Mets, had one of those crazy conspiracy theories that makes absolutely no sense. This was Alonso when asked about MLB's illegal substance crackdown and why he thinks MLB is choosing now to try and step in and implement this crackdown after they already detoned the baseballs going into the season.
I hadn't heard until you mentioned it, the idea that they do it based on free agent class. Is that something that players talk about and believe in?
Oh no, that's a fact. It's not. It's yes. Guys have talked about it, but in 2019, there's a huge class of free agent pitchers, and then that's quote unquote the juice balls, and then 2020 was a strange year with the COVID season, but now that we're back to playing a regular season with a ton of shortstops or position players that are going to be paid a lot of money, like high caliber players. It's not a coincidence.
So that to me makes absolutely no sense. None. I like Pete Alonso. That makes no sense. If you think it's a fact that MLB is changing the balls based on free agent classes, then if you're in the union, you would file a grievance. And if you have proof of that, you would be awarded millions of dollars as a players union. It's not true. Like, we have reached a point in society where we're just saying things are facts that are not true. That is not true by any means. If it was true, that'd be a grievance filed the second there was evidence of that. That makes no sense by Pete Alonso. They're not changing the baseballs based on who a free agent is. And they changed the baseballs in 2019 when there were more home runs. Gerrit Cole was entering free agency that year and still got more money than any pitcher in the history of the sport. So the balls didn't affect him. Makes no sense. I love Pete Alonso. He also defended Gerrit Cole and any pitcher that uses the stuff, because he's like, they want better grips on the ball. We don't want to get hit as batters. I think that's how a lot of people feel. But I feel like maybe it's gotten to a point where these pitchers are weaponizing the sticky stuff to a point, and maybe it could be reduced. But then you also have baseball denting the ball, and they're like, well, why isn't there any offense? Well, you denting the baseballs. Oh, we did?
Yeah.
No, let's blame the pitchers instead. That will work.
No, of course, because you can't. Major League Baseball won't point their finger at themselves. And I agree. I mean, you know what? They probably have developed a way to use the Spider Tack or whatever, Pine Tar, whatever it might be, to their advantage, to give them that, little extra something that they're lacking. I think weaponize is too harsh of a word there, Jake.
Well, I mean,
I know what you're saying, but geez.
I feel like there's like limits to this stuff, right? Like is the Spider Tack so much better than anything that's been previously used?
Honestly, and if I'm a hitter, I don't care if the pitcher's using it. I mean, sure, it's going to give them a better spin rate. The trajectory of the ball might change a lot more often, but that's a lot better than you throwing a 102 mile per hour fastball and it getting away from you because your hands are a little sweaty.
And I also think MLB's got to wear the reasoning behind offense being down. They dent the baseballs. Hitters' approaches have never been worse. They don't choke up with 2 strikes. They don't go the other way. They just try and swing out of their tuchus for a home run every at bat. Like, a big reason why averages are down and numbers are down is because guys are being told launch angle and swing for the fence every time. And situational hitting doesn't matter anymore.
You need to know your exit velocity.
That stuff. The analytics have changed baseball for the worse here.
Well, I mean, and that gave way to the shift as well. I mean, if you have a good hitter, the team's not going to shift on you, because if you pull everyone to you have a right-handed batter and you pull everyone to the left side of second base, that batter, I mean, if he's a good hitter, he's just going to smack it into right field, a little dribbler just to get on base every single time. And so, I mean, I would love to see if the shift would have ever been pulled on. Think about some of the all-time hitters like a Tony Gwynn or an Ichiro Suzuki. Would they have actually moved into a shift from those guys? Because those guys would just hit the ball wherever they wanted to.
There was a moment in the Yankee Red Sox series. Alex Verdugo was mic'd up on the Red Sox. DJ LeMahieu had the shift on, and he got a hit. He beat the shift. And Verdugo is saying out loud, and Fox has the audio because he's all mic'd up. He goes, "Why are we shifting for LeMahieu? Like, you're shifting for one of the best contact hitters in the game." Like, it's gotten out of control with the analytics, man. It also maybe is going to get out of control here for Sam Darnold, the new Panthers quarterback. Sam Darnold, is he an anti-vaxxer? Perhaps. This was Sam Darnold when asked if he's been vaccinated yet.
I haven't been vaccinated yet. Still got to think about, all those certain things that go into it. Again, it's everyone's choice, whether they want to get vaccinated or not. So that's really all I got on it. I don't want to go too into detail, but I haven't been vaccinated yet.
I don't really understand what Sam's waiting for. Like, what information do you still need that you wouldn't get vaccinated? Like, I don't care if you want to get the vaccine or don't. That's your choice. I just don't think that's a great answer there by Sam. Like, he should have just been like, it's personal preference. I'm not going to say anything. By saying that, I feel like you open the door for people to question your intelligence a little bit, no? Like, I'm a Sam Darnold guy. I ride or die with Sam. But that is a weird answer by Sam.
Yeah, to say you need to do more research, get more information on what?
Like, what are you still waiting for?
I mean, yeah. I'm waiting to see what happens after these guys have been vaccinated for 4 months or 5 months. I don't know.
Speaking of vaccines, I just received a text message alert that my second dose has arrived and I need to register. The only problem with that is I received my second dose 2 weeks ago, or more than 2 weeks ago. Almost three weeks ago tomorrow.
Well, go get the third one.
So I am fully vaxxed. But if I need to get the third vaccine shot, it is available for me to sign up for.
There it is. There you go.
Weird. It's a whole thing. Ron and I are fully vaxxed. We're vaxxed men on this program.
We are.
I don't care if you want it or you don't, but I don't know why Sam is being like, I need more information here. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if you want it, go get it. If you don't want it, don't get it.
Your life's easier if you're a football player with it. There's way less restrictions. You don't have to wear a mask in the facility. I have someone I'm close to that works for an NFL team, and he was telling me just how much better it is around the building he works in, where they don't have to wear masks. They don't have to, it's normal. But the few players or coaches that haven't received the vaccine yet, they're still in these strict, really strict COVID protocols where they have to wear a mask, they have to social distance. That's got to be terrible. I would just want to get the vaccine to not have to deal with that.
Normal.
Yeah, just not have that occupational hazard anymore. So there you go. I don't get that one from Sam, though. I'm a Sam guy, but that's a weird answer by Darnold. That wraps it up for Quick Hits right here on the Jake Asman Show. Coming up next, we got to play you audio of Mike Malone, the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. He obliterated his own team after the game last night. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? We'll talk about that next here on the Jake Asman Show.
The Dave Smith Show.
If you remove AD from this Laker roster, Steve, the Suns are a much better team, so it's no surprise with AD